I'm just saying, like, there's never been a time, like, I've felt personally since we've been together at all that I've been like, I'm so sorry that I did that.
Yeah. Hey, I believe you.
Wow, Josh, there hasn't even been one single moment in your relationship that you regret. Not even one. Nothing at all that you wish you handled differently. Wow, like it must be incredible to be completely perfect and faultless. So what about you, Natalie?
So you like the drama?
Well, yeah. I can't be like a doll. I always feel. I feel when I have feelings, I feel alive.
If you don't
For
have
me,
something to feel for, do you feel
die.
bored?
I die.
One of them can't admit to making mistakes, and the other lives for drama. Is it any surprise that Josh and Natalie's relationship is failing? Now, before we get into that, let's rewind to the start. So, the last we saw the pair, they'd just arrived at their camping therapy session, and they worked well together in setting their tent up. Now, it's time for the main event, the event that Natalie has been very excited about, the hypnotherapy. Remember, the aim of the session is to think of a time where you hurt your partner and then consider how you could have dealt with it differently. But the problem is, perfect Josh seems to be having a very difficult time with this task.
Like, I couldn't really think of anything that I, couldn't justify the actions that had happened. So I don't really have a moment.
This is one of my biggest issues with Josh, right? Whatever he does, he always seems to justify it in his own head. Like, Josh is the kind of guy who could murder someone and then blame them for dying. I didn't do anything wrong, they deserved it, would be his excuse. Now, I've said this many times, right? Natalie is a lot, but that doesn't automatically make Josh right all the time. Now, the therapist pushes back and asks him, is there really not even a single time that you can think of where your actions hurt Natalie, even unintentionally? And all he can come up with is, oh yeah, maybe when I asked Sophie to come with me to Vegas. But even then, he doesn't actually think he's done anything wrong.
Would I, do something different there? I mean, no.
Josh says that he only invited Sophie as a friend. Yeah, right. And plus, we were going in a group, a large group, he claims. I didn't do anything wrong, he claims, because me and Natalie weren't even in the sort of place where I'd want to invite her. So, okay, right, let's just say for a minute that that's true. Let's say that he was only inviting Sophie as a friend. Like, I find it very hard to believe, but let's just go with it for a second. Even if he did, right, this exercise, the very point of this exercise is to put yourself in your partner's shoes to feel how they felt in that moment. Feel the hurt that they felt. That is the very point of the exercise. The guy is incapable of seeing how inviting another woman to Vegas with him might have hurt Natalie's feelings. By the way, not just any other random girl, another cast member. It's crazy. Like, Josh just cannot admit to being wrong, ever.
I'm just saying, like, there's never been a time, like, I've felt personally since we've been together at all that I've been like, I'm so sorry that I did that.
Yeah. Hey, I believe you.
The way that the therapist said that does not sound like she believes him at all.
Hey, I believe you.
It sounds like maybe she believes he thinks he isn't at fault, but that's very different from not actually being at fault. Now, this comes as no surprise to anyone, right? Josh, from the very start, has blamed all of their relationship issues on Natalie. So, with the blame being placed firmly on her shoulders, with her partner saying that he doesn't think he's made a single mistake, he doesn't think he's ever hurt her, what does Natalie make of all of this? What does she think?
For me, like Josh saying that he's not feeling like he hurt me ever, it's a little bit self-involved and it's offending me as a person, as a woman.
For all of her faults, I agree with Natalie. She doesn't deserve to be treated like this. Josh clearly doesn't care about her feelings at all. And what's more, if you're Josh right now, if you think that you've done nothing wrong, what incentive is there for you to try and fix the relationship, you to try and fix yourself, if you don't believe that you have anything to fix? There is none, right? And that is why therapy isn't going to work for these two. It's laughable. And in fact, all of the other cast, right, begin to mock Josh for how perfect he seems to think that he is.
Natalie is very lucky with these angels. Never think. He's so sensitive, this guy.
I'm just.
I've got it! I understand now. It all suddenly makes sense. Natalie must be over the moon that she's found the only perfect guy in the world. That's why she's holding on to him so tightly. It all suddenly makes sense now. Yeah, right. Now, sensing that she's not going to get any blood from this stone, the therapist decides to move on. So she moves to Natalie. What's the moment that you regret, Natalie, and what is it that you could have done differently, she asks.
We fought because he was leaving and I didn't want him to go. And I was so mean.
Given that we've seen Natalie lose it on quite a few different occasions when she didn't get her own way, I have no problem at all imagining just how mean she might have been. But isn't it quite sad, isn't it so symbolic of their relationship, that the moment she regrets is yet another example of a time where she was holding on to Josh too tightly. She really needs to accept that he just doesn't want to be with her. Let the guy go. Now, perhaps that message is finally sinking through to her. She admits that that moment was a mistake, but now, hearing what Josh just said, it was a mistake, maybe not for the reasons that she thought it was.
I feel when I hold to someone who is not into me, I miss someone who would love me for real. And that's what I feel.
Could it be? Could Natalie finally be getting it? Does she finally see that she's wasted years of her life with Josh? Well, for as much as I'd love to tell you, yes, this was the wake-up call. This was exactly what she needed. Sadly, it isn't. You see, for as sad as she might be right now, when we join them just a few short hours later, Natalie seems determined to forget everything. She wants to put all of this behind her and move forward.
There is a part of me that want to leave it alone tonight and be playful next to the fire. At the end of the day, he's still here tonight and he hasn't left me.
Honestly, her standards are on the floor. She seems happy just by the mere fact that he hasn't left her yet. The fact that he's still here means that she's more than happy to play along, pretend that they're okay, and sit by the fire playing happy families. Like, don't get me wrong, I get that they need downtime. I get that it's good they're not fighting, but they also seriously need to figure things out. Just ignoring the issues won't help their relationship. But unfortunately, yet again, ignoring their problems is precisely what Natalie wants to do. And in fact, she's burying her head in the sand and thinking back to a much happier time in her life, her childhood.
When I was a child, I used to boil potatoes on the fire, so I ate a lot of potatoes that were actually made this way. I feel like I'm into potato because it felt like home.
Out of all of the potential snacks to choose to roast on the fire, that is actually a pretty sweet reason to choose a potato. But the thing is, it looks like a lump of charcoal by the time that she's done with it. I'm no expert, but surely there's got to be a better way to do that. Either way, predictably, her sweet childhood memory is yet another thing that Josh doesn't seem to get.
Natalie, don't eat that.
What is that?
Well, man, some people don't even have this. I'm blessed.
It does seem like it needs a little something. Maybe it needs butter or something. I don't know. It looks strange just eating it like that. But even with that being the case, the way that Josh laughs at Natalie feels unkind.
There's so much burnt on that potato.
But word of advice, Josh, enjoy that moment. Enjoy the laughter while you can. Because before long, Josh finds himself in the figurative fire. You see, Jasmine and many of the other cast decide to circle back to what happened earlier. They ask Josh, how is it that you felt you had absolutely nothing that you should apologise for? But, crucially, while everyone else seems to want to know the answer to that question, Natalie herself doesn't. She almost feels resentful towards Jasmine for even bringing it back up.
There is a part of me that actually appreciating her for sticking up for me, but I do not feel like there is a need for that right now because we are happy, we enjoy the moment.
Again, Natalie is perfectly happy to just sweep all of her problems under the rug and forget about them. Like, the whole purpose of this trip, they're here camping, supposedly as a therapy exercise. Only you get the impression Natalie is scared of what might actually happen were she to confront the problems that she has with Josh. Now, Jasmine, she doesn't have any such issue. So for as uncomfortable as she might be making Natalie feel, she continues to press Josh. She asks the kinds of questions Natalie should be asking.
Do you think that it has to do with the fact that you don't see this woman as your partner?
I think we're trying to work on a committed relationship.
Now, Natalie pulls faces as Jasmine asks her questions, but she also doesn't seem too impressed with Josh's answers either. I can definitely understand why all of the other couples are beginning to get frustrated with Josh and Natalie. It's becoming harder and harder to see why they're even here. They don't seem all that committed or keen to figure out any of their problems. And Jasmine is keen to try and fix that. You guys need to change, she says.
When this guy gives you like the leftovers, you act like a puppy, so desperate.
Guys, like I have a strong feeling to him and I'm here to fix it.
So she wants to fix it, but she just doesn't want to address their problems anytime that isn't convenient for her. Like, as Jasmine points out, Natalie says that she wants kids and a family, but she's wasting valuable years of her life with a man who has no intention of giving her that. The thing is, Natalie refuses to see her points. She makes light of it. She says, I don't mind being a puppy because puppies are nice, which is kind of missing the entire point of what she's trying to say, Natalie. Now, understanding that Natalie's a lost cause, Stacey decides to turn the spotlight back onto Josh.
So Josh, do you love Natalie?
I've been caring for Natalie nonstop for our entire relationship, and that is true.
Again with the diplomatic answers. Why can't Josh just say yes or no? There's a big difference between caring for someone and loving them. Now, Josh does ask Stacey, do you think I'd be doing all of this if I didn't love her? But that isn't an answer to her question. That's not a yes. But get this. It's at this point, right, that Natalie interrupts everything to explain to everyone, right, that she actually loves the relationship that they have. If it wasn't like this, if it was a plain old vanilla, smooth sailing kind of a relationship, she says, I wouldn't be into it. I'd get very bored.
So you like the drama?
Well, yeah. I can't be like a doll. I always feel. I feel when I have feelings, I feel alive.
If you don't
For
have
me,
something to feel for, do you feel
die.
bored?
I die.
Yikes. No wonder their relationship is so toxic. And no wonder it didn't last with good old Mike. Yeah, it really does explain a lot, doesn't it? If she craves the drama, then she's never going to be happy being in a stable, normal relationship where a guy treats her well. She's always going to seek what she deems to be excitement, a Josh over a Mike. She's attracted to men who are wrong for her. So can couples therapy help with that? Or does she need to figure herself out first? Yeah, that is one that she really needs to ponder. And the truth is, everything that Natalie has admitted to tonight has actually quite annoyed the rest of the cast. We're here opening up and being vulnerable in front of everyone, they say. And you guys, you seem to have no intention of actually doing the work. So it's at that point, with tensions quite high, that Josh and Natalie get up and take their leave for the night.
Laugh is in the air!
Funny, isn't it? They seem quite happy with themselves, even though no one else is. But, as usual, the joy doesn't last very long for these two, because when we join them the next morning, both of them are again miserable.
And I just didn't sleep well.
Do you guys like have trouble sleeping together usually? Like not sleeping together?
I mean, yeah, I do. We do. I need somebody that's kind of just still.
Even the way they sleep together doesn't work. These two are just incompatible. Look at Natalie in the background. She seems annoyed. Already, it seems like tensions are building. Yeah, that didn't last long, did it? So the question is, how much longer can she possibly go on burying her head in the sand?